Welcome back, everyone, at AGOHP, where we speak about real problems, real content, unedited, 10 minutes of raging. Today, again, we've got some news. I have completed almost 5 years in beautiful Mexico, and with it comes a permanent residence for life. Wow, wow, wow. I paid so much for this residence, you cannot possibly imagine how expensive it was. In my lifetime, the nerves it cost me to live here and do business here, and yeah, obviously the millions of dollars I've spent in this beautiful country. But it has given me a lot as well. Teach me how to eat, how to feel like a human, how to meditate and not work for a minute or two, do some ice bath, eat some actual human food, and it made me strong like an ox. So I do love Mexico. But something that pisses me off here is that absolutely nothing ever works. If this country wouldn't be geographically located right next to the biggest economy in the world, which is America, they wouldn't have anything. They're very successful exporters of certain goods. They're also very good producers of consumer goods for the United States. But other than that, it's just a nice place to see, a nice place to visit, hang out with your friends and eat healthy food and enjoy nature. So today was the day when I was supposed to become a permanent resident for life. I had an appointment, I had lawyers who sort everything out for me that I pay a lot of money. I was on time. The immigration office just opened at the usual 15 minutes Mexican delay, which is completely normal. It's normal. We're not in Germany. I know, it's okay. I'm used to it here. And so I was on time. The electricity worked. Internet worked. I was glad. I was so happy when I got there. Lights were on. Internet worked. The doors opened. The security guard managed people in and out. Everything was in order. My lawyer was there. She got the place on lockdown. Everything is good. First, I had to change my address. So I had 2 appointments, 9 o'clock, address change, 9:30. Permanent residence completion. That was the plan, at least. So nobody's allowed inside, no phones, no lawyers, nothing, because obviously people tried to bribe their way through it and paid lawyers monumental amounts of money to get things done quickly and efficient, which is against the usual process here. And I've changed my address. Everything worked. I was like, wow, so smooth today. That's unusual. 5 minutes later, I'm now at my residence application. And you have to know I'm already a resident. They just need to change the status. So I already got a card. They got my fingerprints, my photo, my address. They have everything for me for the last 4 or 5 years. Technically, they would just have to change the status from A to B. But guys, right in that moment when I'm standing there at the counter and these hard Mexican workers, the hardest workers in the world are always the guys that work for the government. You need to know that. They work the hardest, the most hours. It's great. So this very, very hard worker, Monica, she's sitting there. And after 20, 25 minutes of me standing at the desk, she suddenly says, please take a seat. Sit down, please. I'm like, uh-oh, that's not good. It was perfect for me to stand here for 25 minutes doing absolutely nothing and nobody said a word to me. And suddenly I'm supposed to sit down in the back in the waiting room. I knew there is a problem, and there was. So 15 minutes later, Monica decided to tell me what was the problem. Well, the entire immigration system that day decided, after working for 20 minutes that day, it's not working anymore. Hence why they took my residence card that I have currently. I mean, it's in the past now, I don't have it anymore. And exactly where they should have just sent me to the desk 2 meters behind to make new fingerprints and photos, which they already have. They could just use the same fingerprints and the same photo. But anyway, so the system decided to fail right in that moment. They waited 15 minutes until they sent everybody home. So now I'm stuck in Mexico, because you need to know, when you are a temporary resident and you don't have a temporary residence card, you can't leave the country. Even though I have a passport, I can't leave without that bloody card. So now I'm stuck here until that little software, the immigration software, decides to send out an email that my status change is completed. And then I can do my biometrics and get my new card printed out. If they do have plastic. The last time they didn't have plastic, I had to wait a month for them to find plastic for the card scan. So it's quite interesting how governments in generally function, especially in South America, Latin America. They work incredibly efficient, they work incredibly reliable, and nothing is ever based on bribes, ever. Nothing is ever based on bribes. All right, guys, jokes aside. So I've learned something here the last 5 years. When I tried to register a car, change an address, or get a building permit, actually nothing ever happens smooth and efficient and straightforward without a bribe. That is the unfortunate truth of such governments and such places like Mexico. I think it's been like this everywhere 100 years ago. I think it's just standard. It's just a motivation to make someone who doesn't really have to work. Because when you work for the government, even if you don't show up to work, you still get paid. My father is a music teacher. He worked for the government for 43 years, just recently retired. If he wouldn't show up to work, his salary maintained the same, his payment the same, his pension the same, his bloody review always the same. He gets promoted every 5 years, the same. His salary increases 2% a year with inflation, the same. Nothing ever changes, so I can't even blame them. The problem is not the worker, the problem is the system. And the leaders of the system make millions and millions of dollars by not adjusting the system. So this is the unfortunate truth of governments. They're extremely inefficient. They are not run like corporations. There's no capitalist society running them, no consumer controlling the product or service and improving it by enforcing, by simply not buying, right, what capitalism does. So guys, now I'm stuck in Mexico. I don't know when I'm allowed to leave. At least they do have good cigars. Got a nice view. And it's bloody hot here. Well, gents, if you like this content and you want to hear how much I had to pay to register my $250,000 Porsche Cayenne I bought here, brand new, I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.